All right, all right, all right. Hey, hey, hey. Thank you once again for tuning in to episode 3 of Let's See Where This Goes From Here. As always, I'm your host, Miguel, and my co-host, Missy, who joins me for my ridiculous conversations. Missy, how are you today?
I'm good. Got a mint in my mouth.
Good, good.
I'm good.
You are? You sounded good. Sounded
I'm
good.
more alive than the last episode. Got the tired's out of me. And I guess we can talk about it later or whatever, but we got on a run. I think that was my animals. Got on a run this morning, 12 miles with Pam and Lisa. So haven't ran in 4 weeks. And so that was good. I feel good.
I do want to talk on that run for many reasons, personally, and also how was your run? We'll definitely get on that.
All right.
Just as a quick aside, just so everybody who listens understands, we are actually a couple of episodes behind. So we had recently released our first episode, and I just want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in on all the various directories. We did it on Spotify, Apple Music, well, actually not Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, YouTube. We did upload the video. So if you want to see our faces, we are on YouTube. And it was awesome. It was, not that anything went viral, but we did get a lot of positive responses. We did see that there were a lot of listens on all the different directories, and we were overwhelmed. We were overwhelmed with the response. We were overwhelmed with emails that we received. We were overwhelmed with just a lot of positive energy. So thank you, everybody who tuned in and listened. And we hope that we can continue to draw you into our conversations on a regular basis. So thank you all very much.
Yes, the feedback was amazing, unexpected, welcomed. Got a lot of questions and topics for coming episodes. So thank you all so much. We really appreciate it.
We do, because we got a lot of topics. So we can't obviously, even if we did one whole show of topics, we couldn't nail them all out. So what we are going to do is in every episode, we're going to try and kind of bring up some of the stuff that you guys bring up to us. And hopefully it'll be interesting or educational or entertaining, whatever it may be. So again, thank you guys so much. So again, not necessarily Metal Monday, but we did have some races this week. So we had the United Airlines New York City half marathon last Sunday.
Sorry, my freaking dog. No,
it's a matter of time. It's a matter of time. Both of my dogs are sleeping in my office.
Sorry. Okay, but I'm sorry. Metal Monday, NYR half marathon.
The New York City half, yeah. We had Erlyn running that for us.
Ran it. Yay, Erlyn. Congratulations. She finished.
She did.
She did great.
And then she scooted straight to Amsterdam like it was nothing.
Just flew to Amsterdam. Like, I'm
on this flight.
So the life of Erlyn.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. It was fun to watch her. They broadcast that live on YouTube. You can actually watch that race on YouTube.
Ooh, we'll have to watch her.
Yeah, I don't think I saw her. I mean, I didn't sit there and watch the entire race. And like most things, they usually just show the elites.
We seen her at the Chicago.
The Chicago one was fun. They had all those cameras. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that make us like Class A stalkers? Like, we will hunt you down if we can find you in a race.
No, because my friend did it when I finished New York. She's like, "Oh, I seen you finish New York on TV." I was like,
It's funny that you say that. Yes, I had a few of my friends also look up the videos to see me in various points and also finishing. So that was fun.
Yeah.
I'm actually wearing my New York City hoodie right now.
Oh, nice. I can't see
it. Well,
okay.
Yeah. It's funny because I always find that the hoodies always fit me well, no matter what race it is. It's the shirts that I always have challenges because I'm fat.
Let's talk about shirts. Oh, I'm wearing the what is it? BCS?
The BCS?
Look at it's just like a house shirt now, but hold on, I gotta turn on this chat.
Although it's more flattering on you than me.
Well, it's yeah, I couldn't wear it that race day when everybody wear it on wear it home. But yeah,
I didn't either. Although I do use mine as a house shirt as well. Like if I'm cleaning up around the house, like Saturday clean days, I do wear some of my race shirts, and BCS is in that rotation.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was and then speaking of races, so I know a lot of our friends, and I know it's been on a lot of my feeds. So the Barclays Marathon was run this week, the Ultra Marathon, I should say.
Do you think many people know what that is? I mean,
some of our regular listeners will know what that is, but for those who don't, so the Barclays Ultra Marathon, I should say, it's a long distance race. So basically it's up to, and here's the thing, it is such an eccentric race because good old Lazarus Lake, who's the creator and originator of this race, he's a very eccentric dude. And what I mean by that is it's supposed to be 100 miles, but I believe the race was started sometime in the 80s. And the distance and the course have changed. Now it's always in the mountains of Tennessee, right? And so, again, giving you some history on this race. This race was created because Lazarus Lake, I don't remember his first name, his last name is Cantrell, his real name. It was because of the guy who assassinated Martin Luther King Jr. That gentleman escaped from prison in Tennessee, and he was out there for 58 hours, and he only got 8.5 miles. And at the time, Mr. Lake had made fun of him, saying, man, in that time, I could have gone 100 miles. And so to challenge that, he went ahead and created this race through the mountains of Tennessee. And the reason why I say it's unique, it's invitation only, and they only do 35 to about 40 people a year for this race. It's 60 hours long. Now, I know the way the race is presently constituted, which was just run, it ends up being 5 20-mile loops.
Mm-hmm.
And what you have to do is, and you are allowed to see the course map ahead of time, but when it comes to race day, you're only allowed to use whatever notes you may have taken. So there's a bit of orienteering involved. Go ahead.
Gary Lazarus Lake Cantrell.
There he goes. Gary Cantrell. Yes. He goes by Lazarus Lake, but Gary Cantrell.
Carl Hen, a.k.a. Raw Dog.
And he's there. There's a good documentary about this race on Netflix.
Lisa told me about that, so I'm definitely going to try to watch it maybe tomorrow, actually.
You should. It's a good watch, and it's interesting because this guy, he's out there. He's definitely out there. And so the race can be up to 130 miles over the course of these years. And so now, mind you, in all the years that this race has run, I mean, we had a great finish this week. We had 5 people actually finish. But the big news of those 5 finishers, is Jasmine Paris is the first female in the history of the Barclays Ultra Marathon to finish that race. And that, to me, is congratulations, Jasmine Paris. Outstanding.
And in Women's History Month.
Yes, Women's History Month. She owned it. Not to mention, Lazarus said he never thought a female could finish it. And unfortunately, he was right up until this year, right? I think the furthest a female ever got up until Jasmine was that a female started the 4th loop, but they never finished the 4th loop. And that was the furthest a female got.
Count out a woman. That's the stupidest thing he could have ever done. He doesn't.
Listen, I run with nothing but women, and you guys are badasses. So I would never. You guys smoke me in races 90% of the time. But that being said, there's a cool video out there of her finishing. It's like a 2-minute long video, and I'll send it to you later.
Okay.
It's on Facebook, and it shows her, and everybody's just, and it's not a big crowd. This is a very exclusive race. So I think there's probably about 40, 50 people standing at the finish line just screaming for her to come. And she finished it with like 100 seconds left before DNFing, right? And she definitely, she crumpled. She was tired. You know what I mean? But who cares? She finished. First woman ever. I was pumped for that, man. Like who posted it? I forgot about it, but Megan had posted something on Facebook about it, saying anybody who's interested about it, they blew the conch. And so what that means is they blow this conch or seashell or something like that, and then you have an hour. When they blow that conch, sometime in the next hour, the race is going to start, right? And here's the other thing about that race. The start time isn't 8 o'clock every year. It's anywhere from it's like from 5:30 a.m. to noon the day of the race, and your 1 hour warning is whenever he blows the conch, and then the start of the race is when he lights a cigarette. That's how the race starts. When Lazarus lights a cigarette,
what?
That is, I know, right? Shit, Jesus.
He doesn't like that.
But that's how that race starts. And then they do, and again, so there's a lot of unique things to the race. The course changes. I think it's been the same a couple of years now, but the course does change. Now that he had 5 people finish it, I think he's going to change it next year. You know what I mean? But it does change.
The weather was very great this year. Was really great weather.
That's the other thing. You're running through the mountains of Tennessee. The weather doesn't always cooperate with you. Because there's been years. I'm talking about consecutive years where nobody's finished. There has been, and there's no winner. I mean, I guess there's somebody who finishes first, but there's no awards. You don't get a medal. There's no cash prize, right? And so it's an invitation only. You have to pay $1.60, exactly $1.60 application fee, right? And then there's some other tribute, and it always changes, right? And so the rumor is it could be anything. It could be a pack of white T-shirts or some socks. It's whatever. Supposedly, it's whatever Lazarus needs that year is what he tells you have to bring. And if you are a first-time runner, if you're a first-time invitation runner, you have to bring a license plate from where you come from, right? And I say that, and I don't want to say state, because they had people from Germany and Japan, I believe, running this year. So if it was their first year running, they had to bring a license plate from where they are in Germany or in Japan, and he keeps them, and he hangs them out every time the race starts. And again, if you watch the documentary, they do show this. He hangs those license plates out to be displayed. And it's basically like just, victims. It's just the place where the victims come from. It's a very challenging race. And so I cannot, and I don't, here's the thing. I don't want to go over the top about Jasmine Paris finishing because it almost makes it seem like she couldn't finish, but it's awesome that she did and she was the first one because there's people who've run it multiple times who've never finished it. Right. And then you get certain designations. You obviously, if you finish the whole 100 miles or whatever it is, you finished the Barclays Ultra Marathon. But like if you do 3 loops, it's called a fun run. Like, so it's like, oh, you did a fun run this year. You know what I mean? Yeah. 60 miles in that terrain. It's like, you had fun.
Well, that's cool. I'm definitely going to watch it. Maybe tomorrow I'll get to do that. Because Lisa talked about it on the run today about the documentary, and I didn't know there was one. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's interesting. And it shows him for all his eccentricity. Like, he's definitely an interesting cat.
Is he from Tennessee? Because like, if that's the case, I could definitely see that too.
I don't know. I don't recall. Maybe. I'm going to say yes because he was there when they, when that guy who assassinated Dr. King broke out of prison, and that he did it to make fun of him, which is basically what we do every time we run a marathon. We make fun of that first guy who died in Greece.
Okay, so it is on Netflix. It's called the Barclays Marathon, the race that eats its young.
It is. It's a mean race. I love those documentaries. Like, I love all that. Like, they had one on Amazon also. It's called The World's Toughest Race. It's the old ego challenge.
Oh my God. I'm looking at some of the stills of like how they have to climb even. Wow.
Oh yeah. She came in with sticks, like the walking sticks.
Walking sticks? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. You need those. And here's the other thing. There's only 2 stops, and they're only to give you water on the 20 miles, and that's it. So there's no fueling. There's no like oranges or banana. There's nothing. It's just 2 water stops in the 20-mile loop.
So they must have to carry everything on their own. They
have to carry everything on their own, but then they have a team usually that waits for them, and it's at the start.
Okay.
So at that point at the start, you're like your Sherpas. Like if you were running that race, like we would be there to have all your stuff for you, and we'd just swap it out real quick so you can keep going. Although they do have tents and you can sleep, but I mean, and also there is a time limit. So every loop has a 12-hour time limit. Oh,
well, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
And so I guess if you finish it fast enough, you can maybe take a quick power nap and get going. But from my understanding, Jasmine did not do that. She went going. I got to look further into it, but from my understanding, she didn't sleep at all in the entire 60 hours that she was running. So that was pretty amazing.
So I feel like this is our equivalent to the Barclays Marathon. Is it Barclay or Barclays?
I think it's Barclays.
Barclays. Okay. So during the pandemic, that first year when everything shut down, right? We were going crazy, and we did
It was the Yeti. Yeti.
And so we would run 5 miles. How many?
Every 4 hours.
Oh yeah, I have it up there. Okay, every 4 hours, for 24 hours. And so we started
Friday night. I remember because I'm traumatized by that whole run. I can tell you. Right.
So a friend of mine did it, and then she was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do this." I'm like, "Oh, you're dumb." And then I'm like telling my friends because there's only so much you can do during that time, and you're not seeing anybody or anything. And we are in Texas, so it was a little bit different for us. And so I got some crazy people to do it with me. It was, I have the bib because I made,
You did make bibs. Yes, you did.
So it was me, you, Judith,
Rita,
Megan,
and
Rita,
yes,
Sheldon, Lisa, and then I think
Stacy. Stacy did it also. Yeah.
So those three did it because they live somewhere else, but we did it in our kind of neighborhoods where we went to our 3 different neighborhoods to do it. And the first one, we're like, got this 5 miles, whatever. And then, but it was cool because, I remember the picture I took of all the clothes, like the 2 a.m., the whatever a.m., the 6 different clothing. And, but after like the second one, and probably like at 2 a.m, you're tired, like you're sore. Then you're like, I have to get out there and run again 5 miles. And I know when we ended it, it was, I don't know, it was like 2 p.m. or something. I think maybe it was our last run.
2 p.m. was the start of our last run. Yeah.
Yeah. And we ran it like in kind of Addison Circle. And then we went to the Lion and Crown and because it was hot too, right? It was already like 90.
It was very warm. Yeah.
Crap. And because people don't run in straight afternoon like that usually. And then we got a cold beer, and it was the best beer I've ever had in my life.
It was delicious. I'm not even a straight beer drinker, and I was like, this is amazing. This is amazing.
But the thing is, at the end, like we were like almost delirious because we really didn't get any sleep because by the time because obviously it took us, I feel like, longer to do those 5 miles because we were tired. And then you get home and you're sore. So sometimes we would go in a hypervolt or we would try to take a quick shower or whatever. And we'd have to change or sleep even for like 15 or 20 minutes because you couldn't get a full sleep. And I think Megan missed her alarm one time. Remember that?
She did.
We waited, but we were like waiting for her. Where is she? She said she missed her. So that was crazy. It was dumb.
Yes. Although, so here, so this is my perspective on that race, and Missy's gonna laugh because at this point, Missy and I had known each other pretty well for about 1.5 years at this point. And so I remember I wasn't supposed to run this originally. I just didn't feel comfortable with you group of ladies running at and here we planned this race logistically very poorly. And what I mean by that is we started it on Friday. We did. And here's why I say we did it logistically poorly. Okay. As far as the courses, like and Missy's right. We did it in 3 separate neighborhoods that we all lived in. So we were fair to.
Yeah. We didn't live that far apart from each other.
Right.
Really. So yeah.
Right. It was all like 5 to 15 minute drives away from each other. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like we were traveling very far. But so that was fine. And the runs were whatever. And I'll get to that in a second. So why I say logistically is we started at Friday at 6 p.m. Now, mind you, even though it was the pandemic, things are a little bit different here in Texas. We all worked. So we were up. I know I worked.
But we're at home. Like we weren't up to go into the office or anything.
But my point is we didn't get to sleep. So we just finished work, did what we had to do, went out and started running. And so the first one was at 6 p.m. And then we did our 5 miles and we all felt great. Like, oh, this is going to be awesome. We were all happy. And then the 10 o'clock one came around. And you have to understand, like, we definitely were not in our right minds because the 10 a.m. And so again, the runners were Missy and I, our friend Megan, Judith, and Rita. Judith and Rita are a little bit faster than us. So we did the first 2. Yeah, we did the first 2 legs around my house. And so Missy and Megan were running with me, and Judith and Rita ran way ahead. And at one point, Judith sends a text message as we're like the last half mile of this 5 mile loop that we're doing. And Judith's like, I found a dog, a stray dog.
That was in the evening.
That was at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was 10 o'clock at night. And I'm like, found a stray dog. I'm like, well, there's stray dogs in my neighborhood. People lose their dogs all the time. And as we're running down the main street where I live, I'm like, holy shit, that's a coyote. That is the stray dog that Judith was talking about. She was trying to wrangle in a coyote, thinking it was a dog.
Give me a dog. I already had a dog. I don't know why me a dog. But she's like, I found a dog.
And again, said dog was Wile E. Coyote running down the street where I live, right? And so I was like, what the fuck? So now here's the thing. So we're done at 10 o'clock. We finished that 5 miles roughly around 11. And now we all got to go back home. And mind you, we haven't slept. We've been up since the morning working. And then that's where the challenge became, because now it's getting late, because the next starting time was 2 a.m. 2 a.m. in the morning. And now we're all like, man, we didn't really get good sleep. We're tired. And it's just one of those things where it's like, now you're starting to feel it by that 2 a.m. run, because now you haven't slept. I got up at like 5:30 in the morning, and now it's 2 a.m. and I think I've gotten like 45 minutes of sleep. And now I'm going out to run another loop. And then it was a 6 a.m. and it's like, oh, like that's where the delirium really started coming in for me, is that 6 a.m. one, because like I'm on little sleep, because we get home, we're trying to eat something, or we're trying to take a shower, we're trying to take a quick power nap, because we're all afraid we're going to miss the alarm like Megan. So like the sleep was not restful, it was anxiety ridden. You're like, oh, I don't want to miss that alarm, I don't want to be the person to miss it. And then we did the 6 a.m. run, and by 2 p.m., because that 2 p.m. was our last leg, that was our right.
Yeah,
and we're like, okay, we finally,
sun was blazing, 90 degrees.
It was we basically ran. We did run again around Addison Circle, but we ran these weird short loops that were tree lined. We weren't going to do like the whole circle. We were just going down streets to get the distance. And
we did that too because it was 2 a.m. So bars were letting out. Right. So we're trying to be careful also at night. No. That's
the 2 p.m. one, not the 2 a.m. The 2 p.m.
Yeah. Oh, because that was some shade. We were like, oh, there's shade.
We needed shade. It was so hot. It was so hot. It was very uncomfortable, but we all finished it. And the irony is, it's not so much the cumulative distance was 30 miles, right? But we were doing them in 5 mile blocks. And so for all of us, 5 mile blocks was not impossible. It's fine. But it was the lack of sleep is what was hitting me. I slept like a baby that night. Oh my God. I was out.
I can't even remember, but I just remember that it was 30 miles in 24 hours. And so that was the goal. And it was, I don't remember his sleep. I remember I was excited because we finished it. And I was like, oh my God, because I've never done anything like that, right?
No, neither have I.
And I don't think any of us have or have done it again. But it was like a challenge. And that's, I think during the pandemic, during all that time, it was just something to do.
Now, have you ever seen Step Brothers with Will Ferrell and Michael C. This is my Step Brothers moment with Missy, because I feel at the end of this race, I'm like, did we just become best friends?
Oh,
because that rate, because we were just, it was like the epitome of commiserating at this point. We were like, because here's the thing, we ran the virtual half. I mean, the virtual full for New York City the November prior.
Oh yeah.
And that's where we really started bonding and becoming friends. But then doing this silly ass challenge, I felt like that was like, for me, my true bonding moment with you. It's like, I was like, did we just become best friends?
That's awesome.
So
yeah.
And Missy did make bibs for everybody, and the bibs had names on them, like little nicknames.
So mine was, hold on, because I can't get it down because it's go to the wall, but it's I don't even know if I can read it. Hold on.
I think I can get mine.
It says, how can it be, Nelson? Okay. It says, Missy, the instigator. How bad can it be, Nelson?
Yeah, that's true.
Our bodies were so sore. We were so tired.
Hold on.
How bad can it be?
So here's mine. I can show it because I can take it down because I save all my bibs. It's a little inverted, but it's Miguel, Protector, you ain't gonna run alone, Varela.
Oh yeah.
So
we each had one. I don't remember what everyone's is. I'd have to look at my file, but oh yeah.
It was fun. It was fun. And the funny thing is, it was a good story. So that was where I introduced you guys to Uncrustables and also Liquid IV.
Ooh, Uncrustables, the
2 a.m. snack.
But I can never buy them because they're the calorie bombs. They're great for what we needed it for, but God damn, Uncrustables are good. I don't know. Maybe I'm sure you all, but like peanut butter and jelly in an Uncrustable soft white pillowy bread.
It was delicious.
Yes, that's what I'm like. Oh my God, he brought us some Uncrustables.
You know what? Let me tell you, Uncrustables reintroduced me back to peanut butter and jelly. Right. So how I came across Uncrustables. So when I was younger, what's that?
Let me guess, Costco?
No, it wasn't Costco. It wasn't Costco. It was a supermarket. Costco hadn't sold them yet. So when I was younger, I was super poor. And you'll hear me say this plenty of times. I'm sure if you listen to this podcast enough, like I was broke. And so no bullshit. I had peanut butter and jelly every day for lunch for like 7 straight years. And I was just over it. I was like, I don't want fucking peanut butter and jelly anymore, ever. Right. And at that point, I was old enough. I had my own part-time job. I'm like, I'm just gonna get my own lunch if I want different lunch. I'm not having peanut butter and jelly anymore. And I did not have peanut butter and jelly for like 15 years. I'm like, I'm not having this shit anymore. So now fast forward 15 years later, my younger sister needed me to chaperone with her. I'm 7 years older than my younger sister. She needed a chaperone to go on a whitewater rafting trip for her high school at the time. And I'm like, I guess I'll go. Like I'll be because I'm in my 20s, I'll go. And so I went whitewater rafting in Pennsylvania on the Delaware River, and I loved it. So I was like, we got to do this shit. So now I'm dragging all my friends and we're going to do it. And so we had gone to the supermarket. So now screw the field trip. That's passed. The following year, we went back out with a group of our friends. Mm-hmm. And my ex-wife at the time, who I was married to, she's like, we're at the supermarket. She's like, let's get these peanut butter and jellies. I'm like, ugh, I don't want peanut butter and jelly. But we were whitewater rafting, and that's a very physically taxing thing. It's fun. I loved it. I want to do it again. I want to do it. When Miles gets older, we're definitely going to do it. But we had the Uncrustables, and those things were like, people were just snatching them up. I was like, this is delicious. I can't believe I haven't had peanut butter and jelly in this many years. So I got back into the love of peanut butter and jelly with Uncrustables back in like, I don't know, the early 2000s. And they've been like a weird staple. So when I do long runs while we're training, like when we're driving down to the lake, I'm usually eating an Uncrustable as like my pre-long run kind of fuel. And then I'll use my regular like gels and stuff like that when I'm running. But yeah, Uncrustables, delicious. Love those things.
So delicious. I'm so sorry. Itchy eyes. Allergies are horrible here right now.
Forgive us, because we are both scratching at our eyes and have snots everywhere. It's pretty bad. I know. Although speaking of trail runs, once again, Missy.
All right. So I've been, this week has been hard on me. I've been feeling unmotivated in my job and and everything, right? I just been like, not everything, just my job, my work. And I just feel like I'm like getting stir crazy. And so I was like, we need to do something. So we got our next run planned.
Yeah, I had no runs.
He's doing this one, 8 miler. It's
the Possum's Revenge or something like that it's called.
Yeah, a Possum Kingdom Lake here in Texas, about I guess 2 or so hours from us. I guess it's technical, which means there's going to be like things we have to climb up. There'll be dirt, there'll be a lot of tree roots, whatever, I don't know. I just am like, let's do it. Let's get something going. Plus too, because I feel like I haven't seen y'all. Especially the other runners, because I haven't been running. It's my break, and I think that's what I was missing. I was like, I need something. So super excited to do that. May 18th. Pam, Lisa, Sheldon, you, me, Mel, Erlyn, you're doing it, and hopefully Megan.
She doesn't know yet, but Erlyn, I guess you're going to be running this trail run with us.
Yeah, we already talked about it, and the shoes too. So, yeah. So super excited. Can't wait. The last trail run we did was, maybe like 2 years ago. I think that was another 8 miler. It was a fairly technical course. I heard this one is going to be harder, but super excited, and it just filled my spirit. And then today I ran with Pam and Lisa. We did the state of Texas. So it's like a outline of the state of Texas as a run, and it's like real geeky runner shit. And so we did that today, and it was close to 12 miles, just under 12 miles for me, and it was great. I really needed that. Like my brain now feels like it's calmed down, and I came to a conclusion on what I need to do. And yeah,
running has that. running is very cathartic that way. Like sometimes you just need to clear your head,
Yeah,
and that running helps you do that.
So this is what I'm. Is it?
No, you can see it.
Okay, so this is like the when I say the shape of Texas, that's what we were doing. So that's easier. But so yeah, because we all, I don't know, we're geeks like that and want it on our our Garmin and our Strava. And
so for anybody who's actually not looking at us on YouTube and listening to the actual podcast, so what these gals did,
watch it on YouTube too. Yeah. That way you can see what we're talking about.
So basically, these gals went out and ran a almost 12-mile course, and when you look at it on your Garmin or your Strava, the course would look like the state of Texas as a picture. And so they did it as an out and back, and it was a lot of fun. Now,
it wasn't an out and back.
It wasn't out and back?
Mm-hmm. We started.
It's out back. You started. You finished where you started.
Okay. Well, yeah, it was like but not like a. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. So we've touched on this in some other episodes, and I said, a lot of this stuff is mental. So I will get in, because I was supposed to run with them this morning, and I will be honest. I went to bed. I got up when I was supposed to get up, and I haven't really run too much since the Cowtown. I've run 2 miles, and I have to be honest. I was so in my head that the idea of running 12 miles just seemed impossible. And I totally backed out of it. I did not run this morning. And I was mad at myself about it because I was like, man, I probably could have used that run and it would have been good to run with you guys because I always enjoy running with you guys. And that's where I say a lot of times this is mental. Like sometimes you just have that day where you're like, I'm not going to do it. And I didn't do it today and I'm kicking myself. And so my advice to everybody is if you have those days, try to power through it. I mean, if you can't, you can't. And I didn't do it today. I am going to go out for like a quick 4-mile run this evening because I did see the weather and what you were talking about and that wind.
The wind is going to be crazy tomorrow. So, my God, we're all going to die. Our eyes are going to be puffy and red and swollen.
Well, I think the only saving grace is that it's supposed to rain in the morning time tomorrow, like Sunday into Monday. So hopefully it'll clean some of that pollen away.
You mean Sunday night then?
Sunday night into Monday morning. Yeah.
Oh.
But my point is, again, like I kind of backed out of it and I let my mental game completely collapse and eat me up. And so I didn't do it.
And I can understand because like you said, you ran 2 miles since Cowtown. I haven't run any, right? And so, but the thing is, because we continue to run pretty much throughout the year, you could do it. It would just be
difficult.
A little difficult. And it was in the beginning, it was because it was like 2 miles of hills in the beginning. So, and Pam and Lisa were just like, yeah, Missy, this is what you get when you.
Those two are amazing.
So, but I mean, it did finish it. It just got me out of my head. It was beautiful, and it was so nice because I haven't seen Lisa for so long.
Right.
And I haven't seen Pam since
Cowtown.
Yeah, Cowtown. So it was so good.
Yeah, I should have did it. And like I said, I'll go out and do it later. Although speaking of the trail run, so I got my shoes today.
Ooh, can we see them?
We'll do our first unboxing on the show. So these actually came in the mail while I was at the movies with Miles and his friends. They're Nike trail running. They're the Nike. I think I'm gonna try the Zegama. I think is how you call it. Trail running shoes. Sorry for all that feedback, folks.
Are they white?
They're not white.
Okay, good. Well,
no. These are them.
Have you tried them on already?
I have not. I literally just took them out of the box for the first time.
Yeah. Oh no. I'd have. Yeah. Try them on.
I will. I'm not gonna try them on right this second.
But that's exciting.
I am. Now the reason why I got these, one, they were very well reviewed on Nike. Like it was 5 stars from like over 100 reviews, which is weird. And then also, so I'm obviously my regular race shoes. I'm a big fan. I wear the Alpha Fly as my race shoes, and so they have that Nike Zoom X foam inside of it. And so these trail shoes also utilize that Zoom X foam. So I'm very interested to see how it's going to feel on my foot.
Let me see the bottoms. Oh, okay. Yeah, you got the grips and all that. Yeah.
And the stack isn't too high. It's not like a super high shoe. Yeah. It's high, but it's not bad. So I'm excited to see. No carbon plate. It's just the Zoom X foam. And to me, that's actually the biggest thing because that Zoom X foam has been very good for my plantar fasciitis.
Mm. Well, I'm excited. Yeah, you got shoes. That's awesome. And yeah, I can't wait. I wish it was like tomorrow. I got like what 6 weeks.
I know.
So I don't know what I want to do.
And I registered this morning. So I registered for the 8 mile this morning.
Yeah, I'll do that today or tomorrow probably.
So, but yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. I didn't have any races, and now I have a race.
Yay.
So it'll be fun.
Be
so getting back to people who've listened and shot us some text messages or emails and stuff. One of the suggestions, and we think this is an important one. So one of the suggestions that we're going to talk about is runner safety and what we do. And we're two different people. I mean, Missy is a very lovely young lady, and I'm a very ugly man. So we have two different concerns when running.
No, the concerns are he has a penis and I have a vagina. That is what it is. That's what it all comes down to. But
and it doesn't hurt that I'm ugly also. So that being said, so Missy, as a, and it's important because there are distinctions. So as a woman, what are some of the things that you do to keep yourself safe when you're on a run on your own?
That I do, that I unfortunately have to do. I don't really get to run at night alone. I'm not able to run just kind of when I want, like you all get to do, because of safety reasons. So definitely, groups or daylight, which sucks because in Texas it's so hot. Sometimes you only want to run after the sun goes down, or you got to run so early in the morning and the sun isn't up. And I've had 2 instances where they've been very scary. One, I was running in the morning, and it was dark and in a different neighborhood than what I live in now. And a car pulled up, slowed down, 2 guys were in it. The guy opened his door. I'm assuming it to grab me in the car. I screamed, I yelled, I ran to the nearest gas station, which wasn't even, like I said, it wasn't an open one. It's like one of those bank ones because of the hours. And then the other one was I just didn't feel right. There was something, I thought something was, when I say something, I'm a person following me. It was another early morning run. And so I just had to cut my run short, go right home, and that was it. And then after that, I do not run by myself in like, at night or super early mornings in the dark, which really sucks. And so, besides, not doing those things, it's always important to wear reflective gear, have mace on you, have like one of those really high pitched whistles. If you don't have the mace, a headlamp or a type of light, so you can see where you're going and you can blind people a little bit. And
especially with yours.
Mine's crazy bright. I love it. And just reflective gear, but also you have to have a buddy.
Yes, buddies sometimes aren't just to distract you on the run. Sometimes they are there so you can run in a more safe fashion. So,
and also, okay, since those 2 incidents, and this is like almost 10 years ago, I got a dog. So I do run with my dog, and people are like, oh, your dog isn't scary. The thing is, my dog, he's going to act like he's going to tear your head off. And people don't know that he's not, but he's like, oh, real quick, it's like today. So when I got home, whatever, showered and everything, I'm watching Pepper, Judith's dog, today too. And so I went to this land area that's open. I mean, it's going to be, I don't know, I guess sky rises or apartments there soon. But anyway, right now it's just a plot of land. And I'll go there and I'll throw the ball with my dog, right? And so today I was doing that, and he's and I guess all of a sudden I heard him like, and he goes and he runs towards, and there's this homeless man that was coming up to us, and that's what he does. And the guy's like, oh God, And I'm just like, don't move and you won't get hurt. But that's how he reacts. He runs up and the guy's like, don't move. You won't get hurt. And anyway, it was a young homeless man. He was fine. I ended up buying him wings because he has an 8. And
that was nice of you.
But so yeah, so my dog isn't like a pit bull, but he's a 27 pounds of you don't know me.
That's right.
I do run with my dog when I can.
Okay.
Closer to like evening hours or morning hours where it's still dark.
So
sorry, one other thing. I mean, you wear clothes because this is I'm just jealous because all these male runners, sometimes when we run at the lake, it's super dark there when there's no. Oh yeah, well we didn't. Whatever. They all get to run like shirtless and no headlights and da 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 da. And I get tired of you guys. I get tired of seeing it, flaunting your security in front of everybody.
As a public service, I do not run shirtless. So, although I do, and Missy has yelled at me on several occasions, I tend to not wear a headlamp. If I'm running by myself, if I'm really running by myself, especially somewhere I'm not familiar with, I will wear a headlamp. And because I've run with Missy so much and her headlight is so blinding, I have purchased said headlamp. So I now own that same powerful weapon to blind people with.
This is great because you put it on, it'll highlight, it'll make it for everybody. Like you don't need one.
yeah. That's also why, because I have Missy running with me, and I'm like, I don't need a headlamp. I have her car lights running right behind me or next to me. What do I need? So no, I do not. I do, again, as a public service, I do not run without a shirt on. People start saying a polar bear broke out of the zoo or something, and we don't need that. I don't need a tranquilizer.
Hush your mouth anyway.
And again, my challenges as far as running are a bit different as a man because, yeah, I mean, 1, I'm a dude, and 2, I'm not attractive. So people aren't necessarily trying to get me into a van to do inappropriate things with me unless they're looking for body parts. But I again, reflective gear is important. Knowing where you're running. I mean, if it's dark out or in the morning or the evening, it's probably not the best time to try out a new route, so be smart. As that's what I would do, because I don't know if I don't know the area, I don't know how safe it may or may not be, and you want to concentrate on running and not keeping your guard up all the time. I'm older, and much to my daughter's chagrin, I will die at some point, and I'd hope it's not while on a run. But if I should get hurt, or if I should whatever, I have a medical emergency on my Garmin watch, I do wear a road ID on it, and I know a lot of us wear Garmin's, and a lot of us have road IDs on there. And road ID and again, this is not a plug. I'm not getting paid for this, but it is a plug actually. If you don't use it, you should look into it. The company is roadid.com. You can Google it, and they also have it for their dogs. So you have a dog ID for your pets, and you can get that same badge and put it on their collars. And it's really cool because it'll have your name on it. It'll have like what city you're from, and you can have up to 2 contacts. So I have my son and my daughter as my contacts, and I have a quote for when I run, just to remind me why the hell I'm doing it. But you can put if you're allergic to like penicillin or whatever, right? So it is handy to have should you have a medical emergency and they can't get into your phone, or you're not carrying. Some people run without phones, or you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And if you have that on you, they have it for both your watch. They have a separate band that you can wear that has it on there if you just want to wear a wristband and you don't wear a watch, or they also have it where you can have it attached to your sneaker. So they have some good options, and it really is beneficial. I mean, the CEO of that, he'll send you a message after you've purchased it and you've had it delivered. And it's a powerful message because it tells you some of the instances on where Road ID has saved people, or it's gotten in contact with people who you get to say goodbye to them one last time. And that's very sad to hear that, but that sometimes is the unfortunate reality. I mean, anybody who does any kind of endurance outside, whether it be cyclists or runners or triathletes, people get hit by cars, things happen, right? And so I do use that, and I'm a big proponent of that. My son wears the wristband, and he loves it. He wears it all the time. He never takes it off. And so if he's in a crowded place and he should get lost, he can go to an adult and they can call me. Although he has a cell phone now, but when he was younger. I swear by road ID. So that's one of the things I do. I do try to pay attention to the weather as well, both temperature, precipitation. If it's just going to rain outside, I'll still run in the rain. But if I see that it's going to be thunder, lightning, I will not do that. You know, just because I know it sounds like bad luck, but lightning can hit a tree and the tree can fall on you. And next thing you know, you're dead or you're paralyzed or whatever it may be.
And that happened. Not necessarily the lightning. Well, the lightning hit a tree, but we were on a DRC run. And we were running through the neighborhood. That's back when the clubhouse, they had the clubhouse.
Okay, on Northwest Highway, yeah.
Yeah, and so we were running back, and all of a sudden, it sounded like this loud boom, or like the tree fell right in front of us. It got hit from a storm the night before, and all of a sudden, this huge tree came all the way across the street, and it's like, what? So yeah, crazy stuff happens.
And then one of the other things I do, and even though I'm a dude, you know, I'm not invincible. I like to think I am, and my daughter definitely thinks I am, but I'm not invincible. And so knowing where you're going, I can technically just do a long run by myself around White Rock Lake, but depending on the time of day, it could be dangerous for me. I mean, it could be dangerous not because of strangers. I mean, White Rock, for a while there was like a pack of like coyotes or whatever it was. And I mean, I can't take on a pack of coyotes, and I'm definitely not going to outrun them. You know what I mean? So in that case, they didn't bother us because we were such a large group. At the time, I remember it was like, I mean, there's probably like 12 or 13 of us running that run. And, you know, that's why I say know your route, know where you're going. If you want to do a long run and you're going to be by yourself, know that where you're going isn't going to have any of those potential inherent dangers. Be smart about it.
You can also share your location. So we do share our location, or I guess we have our location shared. Yeah. So
I did it with
you're going for a run,
right? Right. And so when I also shared it with, because we were the pace leaders, but Mel and Annabelle and Miranda also had it as well, just in case the group started to spread out. We all knew where we were, God forbid of an emergency. And that's important. Like communicate. I mean, it's easier for us because we have a pretty significant run group. And so we share a lot with each other. And then getting back to weather, I know it sounds dumb and you should be doing it anyway, but if you're going out to run on a super hot day, well, plan for that. Make sure you're hydrating beforehand and make sure you have hydration with you, right? I am guilty of sometimes not bringing water on a shorter run, but I probably should because God, you just never know how your body's going to react that day. But pay attention to those external issues. Don't sit out there. We're not in our 20s anymore where you can just wake up in a pair of shorts and some old sneakers and just going out and do a run. You got to prepare. And again, we're not, you know, I know it sounds silly, but you know, you're doing 4, 5, 6, 7+ miles. That's a long distance run and you need to prepare accordingly. So just make sure those are some of the things that I have to do as a male. I do tend to run with the group if I'm doing anything weird. I mean, I can do a pretty decent run around my house, but it's relatively close. And I let people know that I'm leaving and I'm going to go on a run. So communication is one of the key things for me as well. But, yeah, obviously we want you to go out and do your runs. We want you to be safe. These are some of the things that we do to keep ourselves safe. And if you have other things that you do, again, as always, we want you to communicate with us. So on some of the forums, you can actually leave comments below. If you can't leave a comment, you can always email us. Our email address is let's see where this goes from here @gmail.com. And we love getting those and reading those. And, you know, we'll share those ideas also because we're not the be all end all. We definitely learn from each other and we learn from everybody else who we talk to. And that's one of the fun things in running in groups. But yeah, that's one of the things. I'm really interested to try this trail shoe on. I was just looking at it.
Do it.
I'm not going to try it on now. You guys don't need to hear me grunting into a shoe, but it's different because where you put your shoe in it, the foot in, it's almost like a sock. I guess it's to keep all the debris out when you're running.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. That's cool. Show it to me. Because I have those things that go on your ankle to keep
you see, out. That's it. What, they have like a condom for that?
I don't think that's really gonna do much.
Oh, well, thanks.
What?
Thanks for shooting down my dreams. I was excited.
Because I was like, really? But because they have those things you buy. I think I just got mine off Amazon. I'll probably send you the link. Yeah, but they go on to there so dirt and pebbles and twigs don't get into your shoe, right? Which is important. So yeah.
Well, that's cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll try those on. I'm excited about though. I'm looking. I mean, I've only done one trail run, and it was man. 2015. It was March of 2015, so it was 9 years ago. It was the grasslands up in Decatur, like it was that LBJ National Park, and I did the half marathon for that one, and I almost got lost. Because again, a lot of times these trail runs, they don't have like a course.
No, it'll be a tree with like a faded orange X on it or something, and you turn there.
Right, and I missed that, and it was because I had headphones, because I run up music, and this is where I learned I should probably make sure I'm listening to what's going on. So thankfully, one of the people who I was there in the group, Julie, she caught up to me and said, you turned left and you should have went right. So we had to go back. So my half marathon was like a half mile further than it needed to be. But but I didn't find that I don't think I blocked it out of my mind. I just didn't find that to be super technical. It was just dirt. I mean, there's tree roots and stuff like that, but it wasn't like I was climbing up elevation. I felt like it was a fairly flat trail run. I felt like the roads they weren't paved, they were dirt, but I felt like they were okay. I mean, you definitely had to pick your feet up a little bit, but I didn't feel like it was going to be super challenging. So this one's going to be interesting because, again, reading it seems to be a lot more technical.
Yeah.
And so we'll see how that pans out, but
it'll be fine. Going to say one thing regarding runner safety. What the heck were you talking about? You were just talking about the trail run. Crap. Because okay, never mind. I don't know. I can't remember what it is. So
it'll come to you. It'll come back. Mm-hmm. That's us getting older. Shit, just listen. You may look like you haven't aged, but we're getting older. We're getting older.
Oh, I know.
I am. Oh my God, I'm gonna be fucking 48 this year. Jesus Christ, I feel like I'm closer to 60 than 30 now. Yeah, but again, you don't look it. You're great.
Well, that age, it's there, right?
So speaking of technical things, so I went to San Francisco last week, and it's a cool town. It's an interesting town. I wouldn't go back anytime soon, but it was a cool town. And you and I spoke about it, and there's been some stuff in the news about it. So I didn't, Keith Lee is that TikTok food he does food reviews, and he's an influencer as far as that goes. Mm-hmm. And he had gone to San Francisco. Now he left early. I know he reviewed like 3 restaurants, and then he dipped out of San Francisco. And it's interesting to me, but because his background, he's an MMA fighter, and he's from Detroit.
Right, but he travels with his family.
He did, and well, that's my point, and that's where I'm going to get to that. So I want to be clear about something. San Francisco is an awesome city. There's a lot of awesome things, and I'll kind of dive in that here in a second. He said it very well, because he did not try to bash San Francisco, and I'm not trying to bash San Francisco either. But Keith Lee basically said San Francisco right now isn't for tourists. He's like, and he's right. It's really, and he followed up by saying that right now the citizens of San Francisco are just trying to survive. And it's unfortunate, because he is right about that. There's just a lot of homeless people there, a lot of very public display of drug use going on. It's unfortunate. And again, I went with my son and my daughter. It was just us 3. And it's a shame, because there's a lot of awesomeness about that city. The city has a lot of cool architecture. The hills are ridiculous. a lot of fucking hills. Mm-hmm. But there's so many cool parts of it. It's just such they have, I think they call it microclimates. So you can be in one part of San Francisco, and then you can go a mile away, and the weather and everything's completely different. Mm-hmm. Right? It's just temperature can be different. There could be clouds there and no clouds on the other side. It could be colder. It could be more humid. It's just a weird how it is. But it's because it's built in hills. I mean, They did not level out San Francisco. They just built into the hills or on top of the hills, and that's it. Which made it for very interesting home architecture. It made for a very interesting driving. Like at certain points, I thought I was on a roller coaster, like driving up these hills and then back down these hills, right? And so that was interesting. I say architecture because, and my daughter, God bless her, if we go someplace, she's like, we're going to see these things. And so we went to go see the Full House houses. We saw the Russian Hills. We went on a bus tour that Monday that we were there. And I recommend, and you and I spoke about this also, I recommend if you're going on vacation and you're going somewhere, no matter where it is, if you can get a tour, do it. Right. I found it to be a lot of fun when we went to Miami and we did the food tour in Little Havana, because I learned a lot. I learned a lot of stuff that I didn't realize just little facts that you don't, and it's interesting. And I find a lot of interest and value in that. So I had a great time with that food tour. I learned a lot while eating all that delicious food on that food tour. And the same thing with the bus tour in San Francisco. That bus driver was awesome. Jake, not from State Farm, super awesome. Dylan Tours, if you're interested and you want to go there. He took us to all the sites. We always had plenty of time I wish we could have stayed in Muir Woods, which is a redwood forest 20 minutes north of San Francisco. That shit was awesome. It was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. Oh my God. It was everything you thought it was going to be. Those trees were huge. I just had such a great time. But we went to the Golden Gate Bridge. We got to eat in Sausalito, which is like a port town on the opposite side of San Francisco also. Oh my God. I had the best burger there. It was so good in Sausalito. And no, I can't even tell you because you go there and you're looking at it. And so it was a green awning and the name of the place was Hamburger. That's it. It's just the name of the place. And all they served was a hamburger with bacon, a cheeseburger, if you wanted bacon on it, and a hot dog and French fries. That's all they served. And it was delicious. It was just a great burger. It was cool to be there. Again, I'm from downstate New York originally. So we grew up on the beaches and on Long Island, even though I'm from Queens, where it's attached to Long Island. So we spent a lot of time on the beaches of Jones Beach and stuff like that. And it was nice to just be around the ocean and have that like port town and just feel everything. So it was nice to walk around and do that as well. I was very at ease on that part of the trip. And also when I was in Muir Woods, I was very at ease. When we went to Alcatraz and it was awesome. I was very at ease there. It was just walking through the city of San Francisco. You never got to be at ease because again, my family was there and I'm going to be honest, those people didn't bother us, but there's no guarantee they may not bother us. Right. There wasn't a safe vibe. Unfortunately, but again, getting back to the positives, I mean, so we went on the bus tour on Monday and it was a very clear day. It was just weather-wise, it was perfect. And everybody kept saying to us, man, you're lucky. And I'm like, why? And they said,
foggy, cold, everything.
Yeah, they said it's usually very like damp. It's very foggy. Did you know? And Miles knew this. Did you know that the fog in San Francisco has a name?
No.
It's Carl with a K, Karl, Carl the Fog. And you can look him up on X, which is formerly Twitter. He has a Twitter account. He has an Instagram account. He wrote a book. He's his own entity. And it was funny because we're having dinner Monday night. We finally got back to Fisherman's Wharf after our long tour day, and we're having dinner in Ghirardelli Square. And I'll get to that in 1 second. And it was a steakhouse, and the restaurant was like you just saw the whole bay. So we were eating, and Alcatraz was, maybe a mile away from us as the crow flies. And so it was a cool spot. It was a nice view, great scenery. And the waitress, our server, came up and she's like, man, this is, I said, this view is awesome. She's like, yeah, you're really lucky. And that's where the lucky thing came in again. Right. And I'm like, is it really that bad? And she's like, dude, there are sometimes you can't even see across the street. Right. The fog just rolls in and you can't see across the street. And that's also where Miles dropped that little tidbit about Carl the Fog. And I was like, really? And she's like, yeah, no, that's his name. That's what we call him. And I guess the history behind Carl is, I guess sometime in like 2016 or 15, some anonymous person made a Twitter account for him. Mm-hmm. And so he makes all these little smart remarks and wittyisms. And yeah, he's become like the people of San Francisco have lovingly adopted Carl the Fog as his name.
Well, that's what I told you when you got there. I'm like, I hope you have nice weather because it can be cold, wet, damp, rainy, foggy. It's like, I think
it was perfect. It did rain every day in the overnight. Then Tuesday it rained in the morning. So when we went to Chinatown Tuesday morning, it was raining, but it stopped. Like everything usually was done by like 10 o'clock at night. So that wasn't too bad. And it was okay. But it was fun. It was a lot of cool different neighborhoods. I didn't realize, because I'm from New York and we have a Chinatown in Manhattan. I'm like, Chinatown in Manhattan is the biggest and best. You come to find out that Chinatown in San Francisco is actually the bigger Chinatown. And that was cool too. We got some Chinese food, which was nice. It was delicious Chinese food. And yeah, it was a good trip. I learned a lot. It really is a cool city. We went to Ghirardelli Square, which I didn't realize that the original Ghirardelli chocolate factory in the United States wasn't in San Francisco. and it's no longer there. They've moved it, but they've turned that area into a historical landmark, and it's real nice. So they have 2 Ghirardelli stores. One is a chocolate store, and then one is like an ice cream store. And I also had the best damn chocolate shake I've ever had. That chocolate shake was amazing. Oh, it was just like butter. It was so good. And that's where we had the steakhouse. So they have they have a brewery there. They have a couple of restaurants, a couple of shops. It was cool. It was pretty neat. So I liked it. I enjoyed it a lot. It was nice to get down there. I saw the Pacific Ocean for the first time in my life. We actually did go down to the beach. I've seen the Atlantic a million times because, again, I grew up on the East Coast, and that was fun. So it was good to see the Pacific, and it was a good trip. It was a good trip, and I do hope things get better for the citizens of San Francisco, because it's a cool town. It's a cool town, and there's a lot of cool stuff there, and there's a lot of history there that's amazing. And I learned a lot when I was there. I wouldn't want to take my family back to go there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So yeah, San Francisco was fun. Other than that, what have you been up to? I know I've been out of town, but
overthinking.
You've been overthinking a lot.
Overthinking. That's why I told you this one gave me a lot of clarity on some things that I'm going to be doing or dealing with coming up. But no, I realize I can't go too long without running. It's not good for me mentally. It's just not.
I'm feeling it, because it's funny and I think that's also where I kind of got in my head, because prior to the Cowtown, I was going to the gym, I was running. I know, and I was working through some, because I had a broken foot and I broke my arm. So obviously my workouts were very, they weren't the best, but I was working out, right? And then I did.
Broken arm.
I did.
So bad.
It's an everyday occurrence. I'm just fine. I'm fine. And so it was one of those situations where I was still working out, and I did the hot chocolate run, and then we did Cowtown. So I was still being active. But then these last 2 weeks, I have not been active, because obviously I traveled. I had a friend of mine, Victor, come in from New York, and he stayed here for a few days. And I love him. He's one of my best friends. I've known him since middle school. So it was good to have him there. But first off, I was eating like shit. I was just eating anything. I wasn't running. I wasn't working out. I wasn't getting good sleep. And I really started feeling it. Like, I was like, I just felt very meh, like very meh. No. And so I agree. That's why I said I will do a quick 4-mile run today. And then, also, I want to get back into it.
But also it was just like, because I could go out and do a few miles, and I've done that, but it's not the same when you don't have your run group with you.
Your group. Well, we're going to run it all together next Saturday and get breakfast. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that'll be good. But like, that's what it is. And that's why I always knew, like, I always going to have a run group, because it just does something to you. And then that's why I was telling Lisa today. I felt like Lisa. So, you know how she was like, oh, if I don't run, I go crazy, Yeah.
That's
what I was feeling. Like, I felt like I was just ping-ponging off the walls with my freaking brain right now.
That Lisa's onto something.
She is. And then I run with them, and I was like everything feels right again. That's how I felt. That's how I felt.
I don't. And we said this back in episode 2. I don't think I'm going to run marathons forever, but I do feel like I have to run. Just it's I had that spinal surgery a year ago, actually, this month, and I remember I was talking to the doctor, because he's like, you can't run. There's no running. Like, you cannot run at all. And it was a long time. It was months of me not running. And he said to me, he's like, I'm going to tell you, walk as much as you want. One, because it's good to be active. He's like, but you need to be active. He goes, based on how much you run and the things that you do and how important it is to you. He goes, for your mental game, you need to be running. Right. And he was right. Now, unfortunately, I did walk a lot. I don't say unfortunately, fortunately and unfortunately, I did walk a lot, but it did slow down my healing. Like, I wasn't
sat your butt down for a while.
Yeah. Well, and also the problem is that because I was moving so much, I wasn't giving my time. I wasn't letting the wound close up as quickly as it could have. But he said I could walk, and I followed his rules. He said I could walk. I walked. He said I could, the minute he said I could start running.
Yeah, you followed those rules, but you did it. You were doing way too much at home.
Well, I didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, yeah, I know it's a whole nother conversation. But that being said, though, it was tough, but I did need to be moving. I couldn't just be sitting still and doing nothing because it's not good. It's not good for me. Like, I can't just sit still idly by and do nothing for weeks and weeks on end. And this one I had to do, man, I want to say it was almost 3 months. It was almost 3 months because I had that surgery in March. It was the week after we did Little Rock. So it was like the middle of March, and I didn't start running again until about July. And then even that was a slow go getting into it. But, I got myself where we ran BCS, the half marathon distance in December.
That was your first race?
That was my first race back. Yeah. And I had such a great time. I felt amazing. Like, it wasn't like my best race per se, but it was almost like, my last few races. So BCS, Miami, and then Cowtown, right? So it was all half marathons. And none of those races was I concerned about a time at all. And I had the best damn time. I had a great time.
Yeah.
Like, I had a great time running BCS. It was just good to be with everybody again. And just, and the same thing with you, I realized like I need my people, and then I did Miami, and that was a whole different party altogether, but it was such a great time. And then the Cowtown, and the Cowtown's always fun because so many people that we know run that race. So, you go with your group and then you see so many people that so that was good too. And now you have us running this damn trail run in May.
Oh, yay. I'm so excited. I wish it was tomorrow. But so when do you find out about if you get into New York?
This week, Thursday, the 28th.
Thursday. Okay. So
yeah.
Lisa's going to try to maybe run New York.
Yeah. But she gets in with her cousin.
Yeah. So that's what she said. She might try to
She's got the cousin hookup because he works for the FDNY. I do not have that.
Well, I know, but I'm saying that because I think you're going to get in, and if she gets in, that'll be so great. I have more people to cheer for. And I was telling them today, but don't be upset though if I'm drunk by the time you guys finish.
You may need to be drunk because I'm really hoping it's colder. It was so hot when we ran that marathon that year.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll be bundled or whatever. I'll be fine.
Then you'll be drunk. Alcohol makes everybody warm.
Exactly, right? I have to have some hot toddies to keep myself warm.
Oh, well, you will be disappointed because New York is dry until noon on Sundays. You have to bring your own. You have to bring your own alcohol with you. You got to stock up. Yeah, I'm from New York.
Yeah, but that's okay because you guys don't even start till like 11 o'clock.
Yeah, we're not. Well, it depends.
Was partying and drinking. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I definitely will not be starting till 11 o'clock, but I know like depending on what time Pam and Pam and Carol and them put in, they may be starting at like 9:30, 10.
I don't think so.
Because they're also honest. I always lie on my registration.
You're ridiculous.
I am.
Fucking ridiculous.
Pro tip, everybody, if you want to get in the earlier corrals, just lie about your finish time.
Okay, and then a stupid pro tip, if you follow that stupid pro tip, he always takes back with us because we're not in there anyway. So it's like, why would you do that? I
have options. I like to have options.
Okay.
Maybe we get into a fight 10 seconds before the race starts. I'm just going to go to my own corral. Like other people we know.
Oh God, yeah.
It's funny because it's true.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, no. So I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, other than that, I've been so busy the last 2 weeks. I've got to get back into my routine. Like, is really what it is. And I felt like I'm just starting to get back into that now. Although I say that, but Miles had a sleepover last night. His two buddies came over, and it's fine. They're great kids. And we went to go to the movies. Saw the new Ghostbuster movie. It was fun. Go see it. I mean, you liked it? Yeah, I did. It's the reason why the last two ones that they put out, they do a lot of callbacks to the original Ghostbusters.
So I seen the last one, not the one with the women, but the last one. I see.
Yeah, so like they actually have like little cameos, and then in this one they played a little bit of a more prominent role. So it for the older people, me, because I saw the original Ghostbusters in the movies. It was nostalgic and a throwback, and it was fun. But it was fun because I like Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd's a great actor, and so it's always fun to watch him and do stuff. And so that was neat. And then the boys liked it too. So good job. I mean, it was fun. I liked it. I love going to the movies. I love going to the movies.
I used to, but now I'm older. I can't go past the 7 p.m. movie because I'll fall
Yeah,
asleep.
no,
And
it was 1 o'clock.
freaking long. They're like, I can't do a 3-hour movie. Like, just
I can't anymore.
hour and 45 minutes, or remember how they used to be like an hour,
Yeah.
15 minutes. But anything longer than that, I have to be at home to do those.
Yeah. Although, the last 3-hour movie that I watched Avatar 2, and I did fall asleep in that movie. But I watched it at home fine. Because I was like, I think I lost like a solid 30 minutes of that movie. But the movie before that was Avengers Endgame. And that was almost 3 hours. But I was emotionally vested. I was like, this is 10 years and 22 movies. I was honed in. So I was all about it. So to that respect, that was a good almost 3 hour movie for me. But yeah, I did see Avatar, the second one. And visually, I thought it was amazing. It was well done. It was just, I was so tired. I was like, I can't sit here for 3 hours. Not to mention, I can't sit still for 3 hours. Like, I need to get up and stretch my legs. Now I'm old. I gotta go to the bathroom, so I can't sit through those. But no, it was fun. But I'll go to the movies by myself. I went to go see Transformers, the new Transformers. Well, I say it's new, but it was last summer with the beasts, and nobody wanted to go with me. I asked Jade if she wanted to go. Miles said he didn't want to go.
Miles didn't want to go.
Miles didn't want to go. I asked, Lisa if she wanted to go. They all told me to go F off. So I went to go see it. And it was weird because I was literally the only person in the movie theater. I was by myself. And I remember texting Jade at one point. I'm like, it would make it weirder if like one person came into the movie theater and sat in the same row as me. I'd feel uncomfortable. At this point, just let me be here by myself. You know what I mean? But no, I'll go to the movies by myself. I don't care. There's only been one time that I went to the movies by myself and I felt uncomfortable. Like I felt like creepy. It was Star Wars. Now I'm a huge Star Wars nerd, and I am. I went to go see the original Clone Wars cartoon movie. And again, nobody wanted to go with me. And so it was a cartoon movie. And so it was a lot of kids. And it was just one creepy old dude sitting in the fucking back. And I felt uncomfortable. I was like, this is uncomfortable for me. Like moms were giving me weird looks, and I'm like,
don't justify that old man.
Yeah, don't. He probably smells like pee. Don't sit next to him. So they didn't have assigned seating at that point yet. So it was like, really get in where you can get in.
Yeah.
Felt like that creepy guy from Family Guy. I'm like, hey there, paper boy. It's just like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, no. So other than that, don't got a lot cooking. I know that I find out this week about New York, so we'll see what happens there. I doubt I'll get in. And yeah, that's about it, as far as what it is. But we're going to get wrapping up here soon. So Missy, do you have anything you want to say on the way out?
I just really love all the comments. Keep them coming and review us, please. Don't do what my brother is going to do. Oh, a 0 review isn't going to help you. So please, if you feel so inclined, give us a review on whatever platform you watch. It's helpful. Thank you. And keep listening.
Yes, please keep listening. And I know it sounds silly, but if you can comment, review, subscribe, like, all those things matter. It does, one, it feeds my ego a little bit, and I need that in life. And two, it does help us move further up so people can hear us. We do feel like sometimes we have some interesting and important commentary that we can give to help people with running and just, a distraction. So that's fun. And we enjoy doing this. It's fun for us, and it's fun for us to kind of share these are like normal conversations that we would have, right? They kind of digress all over the place, but we like doing it. So thank you guys for listening. I do want to say before we sign off for this episode, when I was in high school, I was in junior ROTC in New York City, and I had an instructor, and his name was Richard Gogarty, First Sergeant Richard Gogarty. Unfortunately, First Sergeant passed away 2 weeks ago, and the reason why I say this is because growing up, I didn't have a lot of male role models in my life. My dad necessarily wasn't a big figure in my life, and I did have a stepdad, and he was a good guy, but again, not necessarily a role model for me per se. And First Sergeant was truly, at the age of 17, was the first real male role model that I had. And he did influence a lot of the ways that I looked at things and how I thought. Because of him, I've met people that would never have been. I mean, he truly made it to where I am today, where my mindset changed as far as like meeting and talking to people, because having him let me be in that program introduced me to people who I normally wouldn't hang out with. And now these people, I met my first wife in that program. And I know I say my first wife, but it was a big thing for me and a very big positive. I met some of my best friends from New York in that program, and I am grateful. And he did show me how to do certain things. And so my condolences to First Sergeant's family, everybody who knew him in the program. He's affected in a positive way a lot of cadets who joined active military, who didn't join active military, who just went on, who needed that role model and that figure to help them. And there are hundreds of stories that people can tell you about this guy. So he definitely had a very positive impact on the world. Whether, people usually think, oh, it's 100,000 people or something like that, but it was a couple of hundred people, and it was important. And everybody who he impacted would tell you so. One of the things I do want to take away is him and I didn't probably have the best relationship over the last few years. For whatever reasons they were, we kind of drifted apart. And I regret that. I regret that because he was important to me. He was important to my ex-wife in different reasons, in different ways. And a lot of my friends that I still am friends with to this day. And make an effort to communicate with people who are important to you, because there is no tomorrow. We always think, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week. And now I get to sit here and be a little sad that I didn't get to maybe talk to him or communicate with him as much since I moved to Texas. And that does bum me out a little bit. So you know what? The world's not as big as it used to be. We have the internet, we have cell phones, we have video chats, we have emails, we have a million ways to communicate. Reach out to people who are your friends and loved ones. And because again, you don't always have tomorrow, and that's not a guarantee, and you don't want to have that regret. But again, my condolences to First Sergeant. He was a good guy. He did help me a lot. And I love him for doing that for me. So on that note, we will be back next week. Hopefully with a guest. We won't mention it yet because we have to talk to the guest still. But we hope to have a guest for the first time on the episode, and it'll be a lot of fun. And as always, thank you everybody for listening to Let's See where this goes from here. If you have any questions or you want to email us, again, that email address, and I'll put it in the comments, is let's see where this goes from here @gmail.com. Thank you guys all. Miguel and Missy out.